The bustling streets of Silver City are suddenly cleared by blue-coated cavalry, escorting a massive, ominous prison carriage, shifting the mood from lively to deadly serious. The crowd whispers fearfully, spotting a golden-eyed werewolf inside. The view pans to the legendary Rose Prison, a fortress of mithril and magic seals from which there is no escape. Under the cover of night, a massive explosion shatters the prison wall. Ophelia, the vampire, crawls out of the rubble, laughing maniacally and mocking Aiden for thinking he could hold her. She dug for 2 whole years for this moment. Ophelia embraces the free air, celebrating wildly under the full moon, believing she has finally escaped. But her celebration is short-lived. Warden Aiden is already waiting, surrounding her with bounty hunters and assassins, looking at the escapee with cold amusement. Faced with Aiden's threat of cell or half-dead, Ophelia, the Blood Princess, snaps. She explodes with rage, roaring that she would rather die than lose her dignity. Cut to Ophelia tied to a cross, her defiance crushed. Aiden coldly activates a teleportation spell, maintaining his terrifying reputation through sheer intimidation. But back in his office, Aiden is panicking. It turns out he's a powerless transmigrator, surviving solely on his predecessor's reputation while internally freaking out. The monsters aren't stupid. A snake inmate senses Aiden's weakness, leading the taunts from behind bars and threatening a riot against the defanged warden. Aiden tries to flex with a basic flash spell, but ends up blinding his own guards. It's a humiliating mess, and he realizes he'll be torn apart if he doesn't find a solution soon. Just then, a massive problem arrives. Terrified guards escort a highly dangerous death row inmate, fear thick in the air. The blue-haired demon roars from within the cage. Aiden sighs at this hot potato, lamenting the desperate pit that is Silver City. Late at night, Aiden reviews the file. Veronica the werewolf, a former cop sentenced to death for killing a human. He has to use sedatives just to keep her suppressed. The chief warden approaches with a grim look, hinting that the budget is tight and non-human prisoners live too long, suggesting some convenient accidents. Protests outside are escalating. Humans hate non-humans. The chief warden pressures Aiden, execute prisoners to appease the public, or the prison falls. The old fox reveals his hand, sacrifice Veronica. Since she's on death row, killing her would save money and please the senator. Facing this genocidal political pressure, Aiden seemingly compromises. Alone in the dark, he weighs his options, appearing to accept the role of an obedient executioner. He inspects the cells and finds Faye the succubus. She's back in solitary after exhausting too many men with her old profession. Faye's eyes light up, trying to trade her body for a reduced sentence. Aiden ignores her seduction cold-bloodedly, dragging the unconscious werewolf behind him. Aiden dumps the werewolf into the succubus's cell and sends the guards home. It's a full moon tonight, and he's orchestrating a show no one would dare to watch. Under the full moon, the mysterious apothecary grinds herbs frantically. He panics normal sedatives won't hold back a werewolf tonight. The cell freezes in terror. The succubus stares at the toxic berries, thinking she's done for. But the werewolf just coldly asks for the time. Next day, Aiden is in full cold boss mode. Comb for the lion? Approved. Dagger? Denied. The succubus tries to trade sex for freedom? Shut down instantly. Suddenly, the plague doctor bursts in, crashing into furniture. He screams in panic the sedative dose was too low. The werewolf must have rampaged. They rush to the yard and freeze. No rampage. The werewolf and succubus are clinging together like besties. Instead of a massacre, it's a bonding session. Watching this, the doctor realizes she's not a normal beast, she's a blood-sworn werewolf. His mind flashes back to a siege centuries ago. Back then, starving humans and wolves were trapped together. The human leader made a sacrifice to feed them. In return, those wolves vowed never to harm a human again. The doctor slams the table. These wolves torture themselves rather than hurt humans. She's innocent. Suddenly, a guard bursts in riot in the bathroom. Aiden storms in, gun ready. Prisoners lie bleeding, screaming that the wolf went crazy. But looking at the calm werewolf, Aiden smells a setup. The mob demands an immediate hanging. Aiden explodes with rage, using his terrifying aura to crush the riot, bluffing that he'll advance her execution date. Facing the hate, the werewolf breaks. She begs for death. Seeing her despair, Aiden is now certain there is no way she's a killer. Meanwhile, in a dark cell, a drunkard is having a mental breakdown, muttering about killing an innocent person. The threads of truth are appearing. Scene transition. Turns out the bathroom fight started because bullies cornered the succubus. Aiden reviews the report, preparing to interrogate the suspect. In the interrogation room, Veronica grips the bars. Knowing this is her last chance, she desperately pleads with Aiden that she didn't kill anyone. She recalls the day. As a ranger, she arrested a moonshiner. That very night, the moonshiner's wife was found shot dead in her home. The nail in the coffin, bullets were missing from her gun, and she was alone in a graveyard. No alibi, no way out. Verging on tears, she yells that she's a hero. She saved hundreds, fought monsters. She tries to use her past deeds to prove her innocence. Aiden cuts her off coldly. The law doesn't care about heroism, only evidence. Veronica slumps, realizing her past glory can't save her now. Dead end. Aiden orders the despairing Veronica back to her cell. Just then, a breakthrough. The succubus witness has finally woken up. A greedy guard, bribed by the succubus, sneaks her into Aiden's office. The door shuts. Now it's time to dig out the truth. Succubus Faye shouts through the bars, bragging about her past as a wealthy tycoon. But reality hits hard. A flashback shows her cornered in a bathroom, trembling before two new inmates. She boasts how Veronica saved the day, knocking the bullies out cold. Aiden interrupts. Then why were you unconscious? Faye sheepishly admits she slipped on a bar of soap while fleeing. Jokes aside, Faye gets serious. She swears Veronica was framed, having witnessed the truth in her dreams. She dares Aiden to enter her mind tonight and see for himself, a gamble on trust. Inside the dream, reality warps. Red tentacles strangle a beating heart while a giant eye stares down. In the memory, the victim leaves a chilling curse. She dies in peace, but the killer will know no rest. Chaos erupts in the memory. Guards drag prisoners away, while men scream about money and deals. Even the so-called justice seems helpless here, drowning in the corruption surrounding them. Back in reality, Aiden scours the files and finds a fatal flaw. Werewolves tear enemies apart with claws, yet Veronica allegedly used a gun? This defiance of instinct proves something is wrong. Under the moonlight of Rose Prison, Aiden accepts the succubus's offer. The psychological gamble for the truth begins now. The dream ritual is louder than expected. Faye makes suggestive noises, startling Aiden awake. He stares in shock. The succubus is making this look incredibly compromising. Aiden shushes her, focused on the mission. With Veronica sedated and deep in sleep, the window is open. Faye's spiritual avatar slips into the werewolf's subconscious. In the spirit world, Faye guides Aiden to the edge of the abyss. He warns her strictly not to alter anything in this realm. Together, they dive into the pitch-black memories. A brutal massacre unfolds. The clan is slaughtered without fighting back. Young Veronica screams in horror, but the elder holds to their foolish oath. Blood-sworn werewolves must never harm humans. Veronica naively sought help from human officials, who promised justice. But in a twist of cruel fate, the official reveals a sinister grin, framing her for the slaughter instead. On the stand, masked judges twist the truth, branding her a bloodthirsty avenger. No matter how loud she screams her innocence, the mob chants for execution. Justice has completely collapsed. The memory fades, leaving Aiden grim. The enemy slaughters werewolves and controls judges. This game is rigged. Conventional methods won't work. He needs a miracle, like making the dead speak. Just as Aiden considers using the necromancer Asina to speak to the dead, trouble knocks. Senator Anthony, the mastermind himself, arrives at the prison in person. Tension fills the office. Senator Anthony arrives to pressure Aiden, hinting he should back off. Aiden drops the pleasantries and fires back with a cold smirk. The verbal duel begins. The old fox spreads out a newspaper, headlines praising Aiden's past heroic monster hunts. The message is clear: I control the media. I can make you a hero again, or I can destroy you. Anthony pats Aiden's cheek like an obedient dog, promising power and fame if he just complies. Aiden looks down silent. He feigns submission, but rage boils beneath the surface. Anthony leaves. Lightning crashes. Alone in the dark, Aiden's fist clenches tight. Done with threats, he stands up abruptly. No more hesitation, it's time to fight back. He triggers a hidden mechanism behind the bookshelf, revealing a secret passage. Lantern in hand, Aiden descends into the depths. A voice echoes from the darkness. You are brewing a dangerous plan, Aiden. Aiden steps into the dungeon again. Melophilia, the goddess of conspiracy, snaps her chains effortlessly. Her complex gaze pierces through him, and her whisper here you are again drips with heavy destiny. Melophilia has set the board. In this mysterious space, she challenges Aiden. Want answers? Beat me first. It's a high-stakes gamble with life on the line. Scene transition. For a brief moment, thoughts drift to other worlds and stories, before snapping back to the tense reality. Back to the brutal reality. Aiden struggles in this dangerous prison. Even the simple act of pushing a heavy object symbolizes the immense pressure he's carrying. Back at the chess game, Melophilia strikes true. You already know the mastermind is high-ranking. Aiden hides behind sunglasses, but she sees right through his bluff. Aiden admits they want to shut down the prison to silence him. Melophilia laughs maniacally, red eyes glowing, and asks the core question: why does this city need a prison for monsters? She arrogantly reveals the truth. This prison is political leverage. As long as she's here, it stays open. Aiden grips his item, eyes hardening. He's found the key to survival. Melophilia mocks Aiden's lack of magic and weak soul. Aiden plans to use the soul contracts left by his predecessor to force prisoners to help, a risky move that invites backlash. Facing her warning, Aiden has an epiphany at his desk. Don't force, trade. He opens the files, deciding to buy their loyalty by fulfilling their desires. That's his strategy. Aiden bursts with confidence. These 1,000 prisoners are his 1,000 weapons. He calls checkmate on the board, seemingly turning the tide in this psychological game with full intensity. Melophilia leans in, her presence suffocating. Don't forget, I summoned your soul into this body. It's a reminder, and a naked threat. Aiden visits Asina, the S-class necromancer. The scholarly yet dangerous prisoner pushes her glasses and teases. Up this late? Did you take a fancy to a corpse? Asina is at the best part of her book and ignores him. She tosses out the spirit pendant, citing the freedom clause in her contract. She's not doing the dirty work. No choice left, Aiden does it himself. He activates the pendant, and a massive purple skull explodes with terrifying energy, scaring the fake warden out of his wits. Aiden is shaking with fear, but Asina interprets it as extreme rage. The S-class mage panics inside. Oh no, I think I actually pissed him off. Clearing the air, Aiden throws the bait. Want the latest bestsellers from outside? Asina's eyes sparkle instantly. Her cool facade crumbles, and the deal is sealed. Scene transition. Like a well-stocked bookshelf, these stories become Aiden's most powerful chips, bridging the prisoner's desires with reality. Night falls. Aiden arrives at the eerie graveyard alone. Crows caw, dead trees loom. He wraps his coat tight against the cold, ready for the chilling seance. Awkward. He opens the grave to find only an urn. Aiden stares at the ashes. Can you summon a soul from this? He has to try, tapping the urn in desperation. The caretaker rushes over yelling, only to be terrified by a supernatural sight. He screams ghost and flees. Aiden looks annoyed. Well, cover blown completely. Night at the graveyard. Aiden's ritual messes up, and he apologizes to the dead. Suddenly, green light bursts from a coffin. The ghost sits up, demanding to know who disturbed his rest. Aiden yells that the killer is still free, triggering the ghost's rage. Flashbacks flood and the victim was threatened over fake alcohol and brutally slapped. The resentment is about to explode. A gunshot rings out in the memory. Aiden catches a crucial detail in the flashback: the lapel pin and uniform. His eyes narrow sharply. The killer is definitely a member of the mounted police. Aiden deduces the killer is missing a bullet and must manage the armory. Just then, Bruce the administrator calls out to him. Perfect timing, the target just walked right into the trap. Disguised as a customer, Aiden plays mind games. He casually mentions his revolver is missing exactly one bullet. The hint lands hard, and the spectacled man instantly breaks into a cold sweat. The guy stammers, desperate to delay the repair. Aiden smirks internally even though the body type is slightly off. That sheer panic confirms it. This is definitely the killer. Twilight falls, and Aiden keeps applying pressure. He whispers about the missing bullet again, and Bruce snaps. The guy starts screaming defenses in the middle of the street, looking completely insane to bystanders. An old man chatters about seeing ghosts at the victim's grave. That breaks Bruce completely. Hearing the dead woman's voice in his head, he turns purple with terror and flees in a frenzy. Late at night, Bruce cowers in bed, too terrified to sleep. Outside, a crow watches him closely. Aiden is monitoring everything through a crystal ball, knowing his prey is on the verge of collapse. It's the witch Daly pulling the strings. Sitting elegantly in her cell, she broadcasts the surveillance via her crystal ball, complaining that Aiden only comes to her when he needs free labor. Add page showing a tiger prisoner profile. Skipping to the story. Promotional page, moving on. Back to business. Daly isn't working for free. She leans back and asks for benefits. Aiden pauses, surprised that a prisoner has the guts to negotiate with the warden. Daly jokes around, but Aiden stays serious. Do the job, and you get better food, but don't push your luck. The witch just grins teasingly, clearly plotting how to exploit this. Care. Aiden mentions buying desserts, and Daly's eyes light up instantly. She demands cream cake. Deal sealed. Late at night, Aiden watches the crystal ball, waiting for the trap to spring. Time's up. Aiden closes the file, and the show begins. A loud crash of breaking glass from the roof jolts Bruce awake. He springs up in bed, screaming in pure terror. Bruce gasps for air, looking up to see eerie blue light and black tentacles seeping through the ceiling. He loses it completely, clutching his head and screaming, "It's a dream!" But the horror is all too real. The ghost wails about her injustice. Bruce, terrified out of his mind, sprints into the street half naked, screaming for help. The neighbors watch in shock as the haunting unfolds publicly. He's finished. Aiden steps in disguised as a mystic, driving away, the ghost while subtly guiding Bruce to run to his boss. The ghost, actually the prisoner Silene, immediately drops the act and begs Aiden not to burn her voodoo doll. Silene is a revenant tied to that doll. Aiden flicks his lighter near it to keep her in line. She scoffs at him for using prisoners like tools, but Aiden just smiles. It's all for the sake of justice. As the spirit departs, the curse kicks in. Bruce, half naked and hysterical, sprints down the street screaming ghost, leaving bystanders bewildered. He trips and eats dirt. Instead of helping, the cloaked figure scolds him. Quit screaming. Are you trying to expose us? Recognizing his cousin Jia Long, Bruce beams with relief. But before he can shout, Jia Long shuts him down. Quiet. Too many eyes here. Let's move. Back inside, Bruce is sweating bullets. He realizes the person they messed with at the cemetery is no ordinary target. They've kicked a hornet's nest. Jia Long dismisses it as a mere necromancer, but Bruce is terrified. He's not scared of magic, but of Veronica the werewolf they framed coming back for blood. To calm the coward, Jia Long brings him to a safe house protected by anti-undead magic circles. Any ghost crossing this line gets vaporized. A flashback reveals the truth. This is how Jia Long brainwashed Bruce. The so-called path to power is paved with the bones of the innocent. Back then, Jia Long tried to bribe Veronica with a promotion for sex. But the fierce sheriff didn't flinch. She answered with a brutal slap to his face. "If I can't have it, I'll destroy it." That's Jia Long's twisted logic. Watching from the shadows, Aiden reviews the file, a cold smirk forming. Back in the present, Aiden turns to a shadowy entity known as a disaster. If normal rules don't apply, he'll use a monster to catch a monster. The pigeon flies, the deal is struck. While showering, Aiden issues the command, scare the coward out of his shell until he loses his mind. Asset activated. Subject 13, capable of mysterious correspondence. A strange bird smashes through Bruce's window. The nightmare begins. Bruce picks up the cryptic letter, but the runes ignite into a dark shadow. A massive psychic shock hits him, and his sanity starts to crack. When he comes to, the room is dead silent. Only the shattered window proves the terror wasn't just a dream. Before he can catch his breath, the sky twists. A massive green vortex engulfs the town, looking like the end of the world. Maniacal laughter echoes in the hallway. Bruce trembles as he peeks out, terrified of what horrors await him next. It's the end of the world. Bruce completely snaps, screaming through the mansion. Annoyed, Jia Long orders the butler to shut the idiot up. Bruce bursts out the door, only to face a colossal one-eyed monster. In this hallucination, there is no escape. Desperate, he sprints down the empty street. He knocks on a door for help, but a gothic ghost with glowing green eyes steps out instead. Total breakdown. Bruce falls to his knees, begging the hallucination for mercy. "Don't kill me." Jia Long pulled the trigger. "It wasn't me." A gunshot pierces the rain. Bruce clutches his wound in disbelief. The one trying to silence him is none other than his master, Jia Long. Jia Long doesn't hesitate to fire. A swarm of crows dives to interfere, but the bullet still finds its mark, tearing into Bruce. Losing his footing, Bruce screams as he plummets into the abyss, his body smashing against the rocks in agonizing pain. Stumbling to his feet, he finds himself in an eerie graveyard. The tombstone before him bears the name of Veronica, the very woman he framed. Terror explodes. He sprints through the ghostly flames only to crash into another grave. This one bears his own name. "Bruce, the greedy scumbag. This is the price of power." A voice echoes like a judgment. Staring at the closing spirits, Bruce's mind finally snaps. He kneels, sobbing, believing spirits are claiming his life. In reality, confused bystanders just see a lunatic having a breakdown in the street. Mentally shattered, Bruce rushes into the warden's office. He kneels before Aiden, begging to turn witness just to survive the horror. Aiden watches coldly. In the interrogation room, the real culprit's lackey has already confessed. All the pieces are now in place. Having secured the witness, Aiden gazes at the circling crows. The evidence is solid. Now, it's time to close the net. Realizing the danger, young Master Jia Long abandons all dignity, jumping on a horse to flee the city before he gets caught. Trying to run? Aiden sees it all through the crystal ball. He orders a lockdown and rides out to hunt him down personally. The ghost attack was all a trick by Daly and the necromancer. A few rats and some hallucinogenic gas were enough to shatter Bruce's mind. But the witches sensed something off. Someone is watching Aiden from the shadows. An assassination attempt is imminent. Inside her cell, Veronica smells the assassin. She frantically pounds on the bars, desperate to break out and protect her warden. The guards try to stop her, but Flora arrives with the paperwork. With her name cleared, it's time to unleash the angry wolf. News of the werewolf's release sends the prison into chaos. Faye the succubus seizes the moment, loudly claiming to be Aiden's official girlfriend. On the forest path, Jia Long is tormented by the swarm of crows. He curses and whips his horse, but there is no escape. Aiden rides out to cut him off. He holds up the arrest warrant, a playful, predatory smirk on his face. Jia Long tries to fight back, but Aiden strikes decisively, crippling his mount. The chase is over. Before the story unfolds, assess the situation. Aiden, the powerless warden, is being hunted. In the forest, his servant screams desperately, urging him to run for his life. Enter White, the gold-ranked bounty hunter, overflowing with arrogance. While a wounded man begs for help, White is busy praising himself. Aiden stares at his broken weapon, sweat forming on his brow. The hunter strikes without hesitation. Driven by greed, he unleashes a heavy slash. Aiden scrambles in the dirt, clothes torn, completely overwhelmed by the assault. Nowhere to hide. The hunter's attack triggers a massive explosion. Aiden is launched into the sky like a ragdoll. It looks like the end. Suddenly, the ground erupts. A blue blur blasts out of the earth, delivering a high-energy kick. Reinforcements have arrived. It's Veronica. Aiden is stunned she managed to escape. But the wolf woman is calm. She tells Aiden to chase the rich kid while she handles the hunter. As soon as Aiden leaves, the hunter goes berserk. Die, he screams, unleashing a blinding attack. Veronica stands alone against the overwhelming light. The smoke clears, and Veronica stands tall. The hunter suddenly recognizes her, the werewolf girl who escaped years ago. Veronica simply sniffs the air, unimpressed. Suddenly, it's an ambush. A black-haired witch strikes from the shadows, shouting "Found you," as she hurls a deadly demon potion at Veronica. They summon a massive tree monster. Veronica scoffs. This trash isn't worth her time. She shreds it instantly, but blood trickles down her body. The toll is adding up. Meanwhile, a shadow hand reaches out and crushes a cat-eared girl. Her scream pierces the rainy night. The villains have abandoned all mercy. Back to Aiden. The formidable warden is leaning against a wall, gasping for air, legs shaking uncontrollably. The terror is finally catching up with him. Composing himself, he peeks around the corner. Jia Long, the rich kid, is throwing a tantrum in the street, screaming that his hired hunter failed to stop Aiden. Panicking, Jia Long runs blindly into traffic. Smash! A carriage slams right into his face. As he writhes in agony, Aiden watches coldly from the shadows. Aiden steps out, radiating authority. No more excuses. He points his gun at the bloody Jia Long, his stare cold and oppressive. Click. Empty chamber. Just as Jia Long starts to mock the empty gun, Aiden smirks. Flash spell. Who needs bullets to win a fight? While he's blinded, Aiden strikes. A brutal beating ensues. Jia Long cries out in disbelief, whining that he's being ruined just for killing a nobody. Absolute scum. The crowd recognizes the warden. Desperate, Jia Long screams "murderer," trying to sway the public. But Aiden stands unmoved. This is a public execution. Cornered rat's bite. As Aiden presses a blade to his throat, Jia Long triggers a hidden mechanism. A dagger pops out, and his eyes turn vicious. It's do or die. Bang! A sudden gunshot rings out. It wasn't Jia Long. His head explodes. The crowd screams as a man in a suit steps forward with a smoking gun. The real boss has arrived to clean up the mess. Senator Anthony puts on a show, painting his son Jia Long as a monster before publicly denouncing him to save his own political skin. Anthony falls to his knees, sobbing fake tears to win the crowd's sympathy. Suddenly, a massive rumble shakes the ground. An earthquake? Aiden walks away, haunted by a vision of Jia Long's vengeful glare. Even in death, the man's hatred lingers like a curse. Cut to the wasteland. Aiden steps elegantly through the smoking ruins, surveying the aftermath of a fierce battle. A battered hunter begs for help, but Aiden stares coldly. Why save an assassin? It's all part of a scheme to exploit Aiden's heroic reputation. Aiden cuts the tree, trapping the man, but drops a bombshell. The hero Aiden is dead. The hunter realizes Aiden's weakness wasn't an act. Aiden lands with style and calls out for Veronica. A terrified scream erupts from the bushes. Don't come closer. He finds Veronica cowering in the bushes, exposed and trembling. She freezes, terrified of being seen in such a vulnerable state. Misunderstanding her panic for injury, Aiden rips off his coat and hands it to her. A rough gesture, but it covers her shame. Veronica stares in shock. Aiden turns his back, ordering her to dress and move out. They head for the safety of the town. Walking through town, Veronica reveals her secret. She is a defective werewolf. Unable to fully transform, she was mocked relentlessly back home. Flashbacks show her humiliation. She fled her village for Silver City, but now, broken and ashamed, she feels she belongs nowhere. Aiden suggests going home, but she refuses out of shame. Suddenly, disgusted locals shoo them away, mistaking them for beggars. Veronica freezes, her eyes widening in absolute disbelief at something ahead. She remembers her departure, the villagers' warm farewells, and her bold promise to return rich and treat them all to a feast. It's real. Her village family is here in Silver City. They walked for weeks to save her, enveloping her in a tearful group hug. Aiden teases her, but the villagers panic upon realizing he's the warden. He quickly assures them she's innocent and free. The moment is ruined by snobbish locals mocking the stinky beggars. Ashamed, the villagers try to leave to avoid embarrassing Veronica. As they retreat, Aiden stops them. Why leave? Don't you have that prize money? Veronica looks at him, utterly confused. Aiden hands her a fortune in gold coins. The crowd gasps. Veronica, holding the wealth she promised, nearly kneels in gratitude. Veronica thinks the backup is here for a meal, but Aiden reveals the grim truth: their crowd control. Soldiers raise their rifles, and the gossiping locals scatter in terror. Her name cleared, Veronica marches out with pride, while Aiden quietly fades into the distance. Watching him leave, the wolf girl buries her face in a hidden keepsake, inhaling his scent with deep longing. The dice of fate roll again. In the courtroom, Veronica's appeal goes suspiciously smoothly, so well that even Aiden, prepared for a fight, feels something is off. Senator Anthony sits in stony silence, his ruthlessness chilling. To save his career, he sacrificed his own son without hesitation, a cold-blooded move that shocks the courtroom. The memory is brutal: a father executing his own son. The public speculates wildly. What dark secret is the old fox trying to bury that required such a bloody sacrifice? Deep in the prison, the goddess of conspiracy, Melophilia, reviews the game with Aiden. She smiles, confirming that the rewards for the prisoners who helped him solve the case are ready. Melophilia drops the mask, warning Aiden with a chilling stare. As a weakling, exploiting these monster prisoners is his only way to survive. Aiden breaks into a cold sweat. This is the true law of the prison. The chess game continues. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, Daly, the witch who usually sleeps till noon, is up suspiciously early and lining up for food. Her unusual behavior immediately draws eyes. Turns out she's here for the sick meal. While other prisoners grumble, the chef reveals a fancy cake, a special treat ordered by the warden specifically for inmates, adjusting to the prison. Daly grabs the cake, smirking, but the guard instantly exposes her. How can she be sick after downing 3 bowls of soup last night? Meanwhile, in the library, the necromancer Asina searches for brain food. Asina sighs at the lack of new books, but the moment the librarian reveals a fresh arrival, the icy scholar's persona shatters. Eyes sparkling, she begs, "Give it to me! I'll wash your socks for 2 months." It's a best-selling bestiary. As she loses herself in the book, a creepy greeting echoes from the prison's depths. Beneath a massive, monstrous shadow, a seemingly harmless figure sits in a cage. The wood elf Jalala tries to talk, but the monster inside prefers body language. Tentacles shoot out, wrapping tightly around her. The flustered translator blushes. This is a bit too sticky." While the shower runs, a transaction goes down outside. The succubus Faye eyes the money bag, teasing that someone finally got smart, but this cash isn't for bail, it's for something else. Faye is cashing in her favor with the warden. She helped Veronica, and now she wants her reward, free reign to beat up the inmates who robbed her. Aiden turns his back, coldly granting permission. "Just don't kill them." While Faye enjoys her revenge, the senator makes his move. To destroy Aiden, they decide to wake the Ant Queen, telling the madwoman her precious daughter is locked in Rose Prison. They've just unleashed a demon. The web of conspiracy spreads, and the senator's rage is about to torch the prison. Scanlation credit page. Chapter 18 opens. Enter Jalala, the wood elf. She looks innocent and cute in the forest, but remember this is Rose Prison, home to the worst of the worst. Don't let the cute face fool you. Unlike the obvious warriors, Jalala looks like a mascot, but her record is explosive. She single-handedly blew a noble's drug plantation sky high. The green-haired elf struts around with privilege, chatting up guards and looking down on the turnip-head translators. Meanwhile, the narcissistic angel tries to communicate with a gibberish-spouting blue monster, imagining apocalyptic scenarios while convinced she's a savior. Just as Angel seeks praise, Aiden hands her a tougher task dealing with a nonverbal inmate. Her smile instantly freezes in shock. She tries to sense emotions, but finds only an endless, terrifying void in the girl's purple eyes, leaving the confident translator trembling in fear. Aiden reveals fresh scratches on his hand while locking up. He brushes off Angel's concern with a cold excuse, but the wound looks suspicious. In the cell, Aiden reads Cinderella to the monster-like girl, a bizarre scene. Meanwhile, a street peddler loudly hawks magic potions. In a dark alley, Senator Anthony strikes a deal with a shadowy figure. To destroy Aiden, he's willing to leverage his own daughter. Consumed by revenge, Anthony hands over the confidential layout of Rose Prison, officially becoming a traitor to the system. The plan is brutal: external pressure, internal riots, and the terrifying Ant Queen herself. They intend to bury Aiden for good. The mysterious woman downs a pink potion, her body twisting and morphing into Mary, a common smuggler, ready to infiltrate the prison. It's all for love. Staring at her imprisoned daughter's photo, the mother sheds a tear. She'll become a monster to save her child from hell. Profile check. Confirms the green-haired elf is indeed a noble just visiting, explaining her arrogant attitude. Back in daylight, unaware of the gathering storm, Aiden casually buys a sandwich, enjoying a rare moment of peace. Suddenly, instinct kicks in. Aiden spins around and draws his gun in one smooth motion, aiming directly at the stalker behind him. False alarm. It's just a desperate guy proposing to Flora. She rejects him cold, leaving the crowd to mock the heartbroken fool. Back in the office, a blushing Flora reveals a newspaper. It praises Aiden, but shamefully sexualizes the female guards as curvy valkyries. Then, Flora hands over a high-paying offer from the Royal Women's Prison. Aiden suppresses his worry and supports her career move. Before Aiden can recover, his bird assistant rushes in to quit for medical school. Aiden starts sweating. Something is definitely wrong here. That night, chaos ensues. Guards line up to resign, some for marriage, some poached by the rich. Morale has completely collapsed. The remaining staff finally realize the horror. This is a coordinated drain. With mass resignations, the prison's defense is crumbling. The crisis is here. The prison descends into chaos. Guards mutiny for better pay, screaming at their supervisor Flora as the situation spirals completely out of control. Bang! A high-ranking official slams the desk, scolding the fleeing guards for their childishness, and using the safety of Silver City to demand order. Silence falls instantly. The rebellious guards hang their heads in shame, the only sound being the cold click of gear adjustments in the oppressive hallway. In the rainy shadows, a mastermind watches the chaos with a cold sneer. This isn't just a strike, it's a calculated revenge plot tightening around Aiden. Powerless Aiden stands at the center of a vortex of dangerous witches and political conspiracies, armed only with his bluff. The cells erupt. Starving prisoners pound on the doors, while the few remaining guards tremble, realizing a full-scale riot is seconds away. Outside, the realization hits hard. The missing guards aren't coming back. With staff critically low, the prison's vulnerability is exposed. An innocent recruit arrives hoping for a job, only to be greeted by a terrified guard screaming, "Lord Aiden! The prisoners are rioting. We're finished." The monsters smell weakness, realizing there are fewer than 100 guards. They batter their cages, mocking Aiden's audacity as the chaos begins. Just as panic sets in, the familiar top hat appears. But relief turns to shock when the prisoners realize who's standing behind Aiden. Veronica. Facing the mockery of her old enemies, Veronica wastes no words and draws her weapon. This is the first test of authority Aiden has set for her. Boom! Veronica explodes into action, sending 3 troublemakers flying with a single punch. Aiden watches calmly, noting that her perfect combat scores are no joke. The former inmate is now the boss. Veronica proudly flaunts her guard status, "I'm in charge now," leaving the other prisoners fuming with jealousy. Crisis averted, but the city treasurer Doug arrives with a knife to the back. He slashes the budget by 200,000, leaving Veronica absolutely flabbergasted. Looking at the files of high-maintenance prisoners, like the petrifying Medusa, it's clear, every second keeps burning through a fortune. The costs are insane, vampires need blood, and anti-magic arrays burn crystals. Aiden doesn't just manage people, he's fighting to keep the prison from bankruptcy. The treasurer leaves with a sarcastic, "I trust Lord Aiden," dumping the mess on them. Veronica panics, but Aiden stands grim and silent, ready to act. No money? Then rule with an iron fist. Veronica dons the deputy warden uniform and takes control, shocking the inmates. Did the dictator Aiden actually delegate power? Inmates mock Aiden for running away, only for him to suddenly issue a cold order, drag the ringleaders out. 20 lashes each. A werewolf executioner. The inmates scream in terror. But Aiden shows no mercy. "No one here pities you. Shut up or suffer." The warden announces a shakeup. Isabella takes over Sector 1. The inmates erupt, some scream in terror, while others just cover their ears, exhausted by the shifting power dynamics. The purple-haired inmate tries to get a read, but Asina remains cold, buried in her book. "Escape if you want, don't ask me." Meanwhile, Philippa the Tigerkin's profile flashes a B+ threat who loves trouble. The atmosphere turns heavy. Blood drips from a high heel, echoing in the silence. A terrified bunny-eared inmate huddles in the corner, stealing a glance at the brutal punishment unfolding nearby. The blonde officer barks orders, enforcing strict meal rotations while inmates are tied to stakes in the background. Her intense pressure subdues the crowd. Nobody dares to step out of line. Outside, Isabella boasts to the new recruit, Flora, about being Lord Aiden's most trusted. Flora, eyes shining, swears her absolute loyalty to Aiden, instantly bonding over their shared devotion. Flora looks at Rose Prison with starry-eyed excitement. Isabella gives her final instructions, but the moment is cut short as a prisoner transport wagon rumbles through the gates, signaling new trouble. Haley explodes at the guards, furious about receiving more prisoners while short-staffed. Inside the dark cell, a new gray-haired inmate sits curled up on the bench, drowning in silent despair. The cell door slams shut. The new girl is barely settled when a pink-robed inmate flashes a light at her, arrogantly bragging that she runs this place and that the warden is just her boy toy. The big sis act continues as she dumps her laundry duties on the rookie. But outside, the peaceful night shatters. Flames erupt against the prison walls. The chaos begins. Alarm spreads as the fire consumes the dorms. Guards scramble in the smoke, shouting orders, while a purple-haired watcher stares in shock. The situation is spiraling fast. While guards fight the fire, a darker threat looms. Monstrous inmates gather in the shadows, breathing in sync. Watching from her window, a purple-haired prisoner realizes the chaos is just the beginning. A blue-winged demon dives, scattering the terrified guards like ants. As the defense line crumbles, the purple-haired mastermind watches calmly, noting how easily fear breaks their formation. Chaos floods the hallways as Ginny screams for backup. But in her cell, the purple-haired strategist just smiles. She knows this riot is just a pawn's move. The real player hasn't even stepped onto the board yet. Two massive monsters roar into the night, paralyzing the guards with fear. Suddenly, A massive pillar crashes down. From the dust emerges the man in the top hat, sighing calmly amidst the chaos. While the monsters clash, Aiden steps in with a polite "good afternoon, ladies," instantly shifting the power dynamic. A profile flashes for Tika, a lizard man digger, another headache to deal with. A brief commercial break showing a wealthy young master surrounded by beauties, a stark contrast to our chaotic prison. Back to the action. The heavy doors creak open, flooding the dark hall with light. Inside, the violence escalates. A bestiated inmate hurls a ball of searing fire at a bound prisoner, showing no mercy. Aiden strolls down the corridor, cane in hand, looking utterly unimpressed. He only stepped out for a cup of tea, and the guards have already let the inmates run wild. The groundhog girl screams through the bars, calling Aiden a powerless fraud. But the other inmates just roll their eyes, whispering that she's the privileged one, practically Aiden's daughter, and he lets her get away with anything. The purple-haired inmate smiles, claiming to be the stepmother, while watching Aiden gently pat Evangeline's head. But beneath this twisted family dynamic, a hooded figure issues a cold command: eliminate everyone who wants us dead. Flashback. The woman known as Mother faces an entire army screaming heretic. Bullets tear into her, but she stands her ground, terrifying purple energy dripping from her fingertips. She snaps. Purple energy explodes, blasting soldiers away like ragdolls. Screaming about her masterpiece, she impales them with raw power, total slaughter. Meanwhile, agony tears through the victim. Purple light burrows into his chest, forcing a blood-curdling scream as his mind begins to shatter under the pressure. Back in prison, things get awkward. The blue-haired girl points out that her friend's pants ripped during a werewolf transformation. Meet Arrow, the harpy prisoner. Awkward moment confirmed. Promotional artwork featuring a wealthy heir surrounded by beauties. Let's get back to the story. Chaos begins. The Gorgon prisoner stares in total disbelief. The cell doors have actually opened automatically. It feels wrong, like a trap. The prisoners crowd the gate but freeze. Warden Aiden stands there grinning, camera in hand, urging them on: run. Once you're out, you're free. His smile is pure psychological warfare. It doesn't work on Ophelia. Traumatized by Aiden's past torture and memories of hanging over lava, the vampire princess panics and refuses to be the guinea pig. The tension snaps into comedy. Instead of escaping, everyone goes crazy trying to catch a giant rooster. Someone's even waving a spoon, screaming, "Catch it! That's lunch." But the chicken isn't just food, it's a mine detector. Everyone freezes as the bird sprints toward the open gate. Is there a trap waiting outside? The chicken passes the magic circle untouched. Just as the prisoners cheer, "We're safe," a massive explosion erupts at the gate. Boom! A charred roast chicken flops onto the ground. The prisoners are stunned. The blue-haired mage is just annoyed. "Are you kidding? My masterpiece trap just cooked a bird." The guards are psychopaths. Meet Isabella, a mage who treats lethal traps like toys. When a prisoner questions her, she blasts him with magic, leaving him coughing blood. The real villains step up. This blue-haired guy suggests a cruel plan: use the weak prisoners as human shields to trigger the traps. The prison's brutal hierarchy is in full effect. Karma hits fast. Before he can finish, a shadow strikes, kicking him into the air and impaling him with a blade. Blood sprays everywhere as the tough guy collapses. Aiden's elite guards arrive. The twin sword women issue a cold warning: go back to your cells or die. These aren't regular guards, they're killing machines bred for this. A hulking orc prisoner thinks he's the new boss until he sees them. He instantly drops to his knees in terror. "Lord Austin, I can't believe you're here." A quick look at the new prisoner profile. Yenna the Ghoul, a blood-sucking threat. Credits roll here. Let's move to the next scene. Here she is, the source of their fear. The princess of the Marbaugh family, ruler of the orcs. She stands with a whip in hand, and even the toughest criminals bow their heads. Her minions are eager to break her out, but Austin stays cool. She waves them off. "Relax, we're just here to watch the show." She knows a reckless escape would trigger a war. She's playing the long game. The mysterious woman marvels at the magic circle, recognizing the terrifying lineage of ancient gods capable of destroying cities. Plotting to use the prisoners against Aiden, she disguises herself by day, recruiting kitchen staff with a deceptive smile. Chaos erupts as prisoners vie for the job, but the red-haired gold medal brawler violently asserts dominance, only to be scolded by the calm librarian. Aiden assigns the librarian role, and from the shadows, the infiltrator realizes he's strategically placing powerful pawns to secure the prison. Analyzing the blueprints, they spot a vulnerability near the playground, while the mother worries if her daughter is trapped within the chaos. Class dismissed. But peace is short-lived, as the scent of hidden alcohol draws immediate, aggressive attention from the inmates. The alcoholic mercenary Jean Jia takes the bait. Aiden offers the booze as a reward, provided she oversees the massive land reclamation project. Blinded by her craving, Jean Jia eagerly accepts the deal, completely unaware she's walking straight into Aiden's labor trap. Realizing the task is impossible alone, she's forced to recruit others, while a spy watches the strategic expansion unfold from the shadows. The Butcher of the Northlands is a formidable asset. Meanwhile, the mother restrains her daughter, whose eyes burn with suppressed, lethal power. She's no child, but a Wendigo, a Class A monster. The threat of a coordinated massacre hangs heavy in the air. A brief interlude showcasing the chaotic world where money meets monsters, reminding us of the high stakes involved. As the sun sets over the prison walls, guards patrol unaware that darkness brings a new, creeping danger to their gates. A monstrous mouth hisses in the dark. The infiltrator prepares her move, scanning for a weak link to exploit inside the prison. Target acquired, Vampire Princess Ophelia. Still fuming from her failed escape and humiliation by Aiden, she's a powder keg waiting to explode. Ophelia throws a tantrum over pig blood, but chaos ensues, shattering her dinner. Her rage instantly boils over. The infiltrator steps on the spilled blood, a fatal mistake. Ophelia snaps, fangs bared, and launches a feral attack. Ophelia goes for the throat, but the intruder smiles calmly. Drink my blood, and that curse mark on your neck will make you regret it. Shock washes over Ophelia as the curse vanishes. Her eyes widen, her sealed magic power is flooding back. Power restored, Ophelia is offered a spot on the team. Meanwhile, unaware of the conspiracy, Aiden steps into the chilling cold of a secret meeting. The door creaks open as Aiden sets the stage. The floor is littered with traps, a countermeasure for prisoners with sensitive noses. With heat-sensing snakes in place, the trap is set. Aiden breaks down the prison population, the bloodthirsty rioters, the lazy neutrals, and the model inmates like Jean Jia, who treat the prison like their comfortable home. Aiden peers through the blinds, his plan forming. He intends to pit prisoner against prisoner, uniting the model inmates to crush the rioters. It's a classic divide-and-conquer strategy. Night falls, bringing danger with it. A sudden burst of red energy shatters the silence. Violence erupts in the shadows, marking the start of the storm. Outside in the forest, escaped prisoners plot. With their curses lifting, their power returns. The purple-haired witch brews a potion, ordering the new recruit to gather more allies. The veterans mock the newcomer's background. Without a word, the dark-haired woman unleashes a terrifying purple energy, instantly silencing their doubts with sheer power. She plants parasites on them, threatening death by insects if they disobey. Meanwhile, back in the cafeteria, prisoners enjoy their meal, oblivious to the looming horror. Chaos erupts inside, as guards order a massive cell swap. Inmates are confused, and shockingly, some are told their sentences are over, a sudden freedom that feels suspicious. In the evening yard, prisoners whisper, doubting this sudden release. High above, a guard watches coldly, confirming the model inmates are in place. The plan is in motion. Troublemakers refuse to return, citing Aiden's promises, but the blue-haired guard shuts them down. They comply, but the vice warden senses the dangerous undercurrent beneath their obedience. Forced into the back cells, The riders are furious. But one realizes a silver lining. Being grouped together makes it easier to plot a massive revolt. As the non-humans plot, the strategist spots something wrong on the map. The blackened area they're moving to is for high-threat monsters. It's a death trap. Terrifying noises from next door make the blue-haired inmate scream. The Tiger Man instantly shuts him up. Making noise in this high-risk zone is a death wish. While the blue-haired guy panics, the purple-haired strategist realizes this is a delay tactic. Strangely, compared to being hunted outside, prison life suddenly seems appealing. Aiden's plan works perfectly. Model inmates in the front enjoy privileges, while riders in the back are crammed into filth, tormented by noise and each other's aggression. Meanwhile, Aiden selects his key pawns: Aya, the cunning strategist, and Jean Jia, the overpowered mercenary leader. He's going to use them to tear the prisoner hierarchy apart. This is just a promotional image for another comic. Let's skip it and get back to the story. Back in the corridor, guards look for Jean Jia for outdoor practice. Other prisoners sneer, calling Jean Jia the warden's dog for being selected. The veteran inmates smell a rat, noticing the selected ones have specific backgrounds. Jolai laughs, smelling alcohol on Jean Jia, accusing him of selling out for a drink. Mandy realizes there are over 200 lifers like Jean Jia. Aiden isn't looking for cannon fodder. He's using benefits and booze to weaponize this powerful faction. Aiden is hyping up the prisoners to fight the rebels. They call it selecting leaders, but everyone knows it just means becoming a glorified lackey. The mercenaries learned the hard way about blind loyalty. But they've done the math. Fighting for the warden is risky, but siding with the rebels is a death sentence. The drunk mercenary leader cheers for booze, but the dark-haired girl watches coldly. She sees through the small favors and plans to use these idiots as stepping stones. Flashback time. This blue-haired witch was once blasted out of the coven by her mentor, Daly, for experimenting on humans. She begged, but it was over. She didn't listen, and the big guns came out. Blasted by forbidden magic in the dark forest, she was sent plummeting into the forbidden zone. Everyone thought she was dead meat. But amidst the lightning and monsters of the forbidden zone, she didn't just survive, she mastered secret dark arts. Armed with forbidden power, she thinks she's untouchable. Suddenly, the warden releases her early and hands back her confiscated gear. Here's the file on Aya, the mercenary strategist. Low combat stats, but she's the brains of the operation and obsessively loyal to her drunk leader. Back at the gate, she stares at her release papers in disbelief. In Rose Prison, a free lunch usually means you're walking into a trap. She remembers punching a guard who mocked her flat chest. Now Aiden wants to cut a deal. This screams dirty business involving gold and bounty hunters. She finds her old mentor, Daly, in the cafeteria. She tries to act cool, but Daly casually drops her secret plan while sipping soup, freezing the mood instantly. Masks off. Daly mocks her for not being picked for Aiden's special mission and flashes her magic cards. The teacher still has the upper hand. Meanwhile, Aiden pitches his grand plan to Ophelia: potato farming for vodka. Great idea, except he needs someone trustworthy to go shopping outside. Aiden decides to send the prisoners shopping. Ophelia is shocked, but the plant-loving wood elf turns out to be the perfect candidate for the job. At the gate, Aiden waves them off with a smile and a threat about exploding collars. The prisoners stare at the outside world, unable to believe it's real. What's that secret art? It's a potion called prosperity. One drop makes a creature grow instantly, powerful enough to shatter magical collars. In a creepy lab, a monster explains the loophole: overdose on the potion, and your body splits. It's a cheat code to cheat death contracts. So that's how she survived. She let a duplicate body take the curse. She gloats about her immortality, but Daly just rolls her eyes and tells her to get lost. She tries to threaten Daly, but shadows move outside the window. Suddenly, she realizes something is wrong. The feeling of being hunted creeps up her spine. Chaos erupts in the cafeteria as she orders an attack. But outside, the shopping team is already being tracked. She just walks straight into a setup. Conspiracy breeds in the shadows. A man in a top hat pays off an assassin, ordering the elimination of Mandy the fox spirit with a cold, ruthless stare. Meanwhile, in the slum streets, prisoners are buying supplies. Jalala, the green-haired elf, looks confident, plotting something beneath the surface. They venture deeper into the maze, feeling their anti-magic collars loosen. Jalala complains about the distance, but tension hangs heavy in the air. Aiden has seen through it all. In his office, he calmly analyzes. Jalala acts like a bored child, but for a 170-year-old elf, the performance is too sloppy. Jalala finally reveals her fangs. She flashes the gold Aiden gave them, inciting the prisoners to turn the grocery money into an escape fund. The crowd stirs. The fox-haired girl excitedly shows the escape map, but the sharp-witted purple-haired prisoner freezes. Why would Aiden let them get this close to the barrier edge? It's a trap. Eerie red light floods the street. Jalala pales and trembles, apologizing. They realize they never truly escaped his grasp. Despair descends. Roofs are lined with archers and soldiers. Aiden gave them false hope only to crush it with absolute military might. Elsewhere, Aiden teaches a lesson. To tame a wild wolf, treats won't work. You must first make it understand fear. Suddenly, alarms blare. A massive purple monster manifests in the cafeteria, and Daly, the guard supposed to be there, is nowhere to be found. Aiden frowns. No one is escaping during the chaos? This smells like an inside job. He immediately orders his men to identify the puppet master. The cafeteria is in chaos. Amidst the brawl, agents of the Witch Assembly are recruiting prisoners, promising freedom in exchange for loyalty. Flashback to a warning: never underestimate that woman Melophilia. Her ambition is more dangerous than anyone realizes. Daly finally shows her hand. She claims to possess a secret technique to break Aiden's contract, forcing the prisoners to choose a side. This is the price of defiance. Daly, wrapped in lightning, beats her questioning lackey half to death, sending a brutal message. Just as Daly threatens with a knife, a giant glowing purple rat falls from the ceiling. The female prisoners scream and scatter in instant chaos. Seizing the chaos, a brawl erupts. The demon guy lands a heavy punch, smashing the purple-haired girl's face. The room turns into a gladiator pit. The thug fears retaliation, but strikes hard anyway. Meanwhile, the red-haired witch orchestrating it all sits calmly in her room, petting her cats. The cavalry arrives. Fully armed guards storm the courtyard. The rioting prisoners, so arrogant moments ago, are forced into a panicked retreat. The monsters still roar, but it's over. Aiden looks coldly at the mob, ordering the ringleaders isolated. The riot is crushed. Aiden asks the transport team if they face danger. The trio, terrified by their journey, instantly mask their fear with fake smiles, shouting everything went smoothly, just to please him. The trio tries to sneak away, but Aiden shouts stop, freezing them in fear. Instead of punishment, he points to wine barrels as a reward. They drink gratefully, but remain terrified of his unpredictable generosity. Back in the cells, the new labor captains celebrate. But the other inmates are furious, calling them traitors. The blue-skinned monsters mock them, and vow to riot at Aiden's office tomorrow, sparking a violent clash. Chaos erupts. The labor faction fights to protect their jobs, while the rebels scream in frustration. One purple-haired inmate despairs, realizing Aiden has successfully turned her former allies into his loyal guard dogs. Night falls, and the prison erupts into chaos. But it's inmate versus inmate. The pro-Aiden Beast prisoners intercept the rioters, grinning as they unleash their pent-up aggression on the troublemakers. A massive harpy screeches and dives, but the prisoners are coordinated. Spotting its weak point, they bait the monster, and a bandaged fighter launches a devastating kick mid-air. It's the Dragon Blood Carmilla. Everyone is shocked she broke her neutrality. She just smirks, shaking a bag of coins. She's purely here for the money, and she'll crush anyone standing between her and her payday. The brawl intensifies. While Carmilla secures her flank, a pig-like inmate swells up with power but gets popped like a balloon, exploding in a burst of pink energy before he can even attack. Victory is instant. The horned demon laughs arrogantly, only to be crushed by a massive yellow fur ball. Green energy blades slash wildly, turning the demon's laughter into screams of agony. The demon is crushed under 3 tons of weight, coughing up blood. A bystander screams in horror, while the attacker is shocked his massive beast form should have flattened the demon instantly, yet the enemy still struggles. A bare rune glows on his back. The blonde powerhouse charges his hands with lightning and delivers a brutal slap, sending blood flying. He stares down at his broken opponent, unimpressed. Is that it? I'm not even warmed up. The chubby prisoner Jolai gets cornered and hungry. Suddenly, his fat converts into pure muscle. Revealing his giant bloodline, he transforms from a round ball into a towering behemoth of raw power, terrifying his opponent. Victory. The team celebrates, cheering for Jolai. But a command for silence cuts the party short. They fall into line, marching solemnly toward the glowing door at the end of the corridor. Aiden stands above them, furious. He drops a bombshell. Starting tomorrow, the labor program begins. No more free time. The riders freeze and panic. Their big rebellion was planned for tomorrow, and Aiden just canceled it. The inmates rage, feeling tricked. But this was Aiden's plan all along, incite a brawl to identify the troublemakers and lock them down. Now, with the anti-magic barrier up, the riders are trapped. Checkmate. The naive inmates celebrate their freedom. Flora, the mastermind behind the manipulation, smirks coldly, enjoying the betrayal of her former allies. Aiden praises her performance but warns her, good acting, but don't relax. The real danger is still out there. Suspicion grows among the guards. The riot felt staged, and the new inmate Mary has been getting too cozy with the witch daily. Something dark is brewing in the shadows. Back in the office, nursing his injured arm, Aiden recounts the chaos. He tried to question the witch daily, but a riot conveniently broke out. It's too much of a coincidence. Daly is hiding something. Aiden interrogates Daly. She plays innocent, claiming self-defense, but the guard's report says otherwise. She used magic to hide her tracks. Aiden stares her down, knowing she's lying through her teeth. Aiden knows Daly is exploiting the chaos. Daly curses internally. If not for the binding spell, she'd destroy him. Aiden counters by deploying Veronica to sniff out Daly's spies. Meanwhile, outside, a prisoner digs in the dirt, unaware they are being watched. The black-haired prisoner snaps, threatening her handler. But the guard fires back cold. If he hadn't looked the other way during the riot, she'd already be dead. Evange tries to fit in, but a creepy purple mist startles her. Terrified, she name-drops Aiden like a shield, clinging to his instructions like a lost child. The blonde girl realizes something's wrong. Evange treats reading like a mission. That's no fairy tale book, it's a manual for slaughter, and it's chilling. Veronica reveals the horror. Evange isn't a prisoner, she's a living weapon made by the Ant Queen. Even the doctors were terrified by her twisted internal organs. Her blood melts steel. Surgery is impossible. Just as the hopelessness of her condition sets in, new prisoners arrive, breaking the heavy silence. It gets worse. There are more victims like her. Meanwhile, Jean Jia skips lunch for booze, but the mood shifts when they realize Jalala is missing. Turns out Jalala just needs sunlight to eat. The laughter dies quickly though, as memories of their fallen comrades and the war orphans haunt them. Outside the prison, the VIPs live in luxury. They're betting on the prison food, smirking because they know exactly what's about to happen to it. Chaos erupts in the cafeteria. Prisoners collapse, vomiting in agony. A guard bursts into Aiden's office. Code red, the food is poisoned. Intermission, a stylish lineup before the storm. Don't let the glamour fool you, things are about to get very bloody. Panic spreads. The doctor is gone, and the guards are scrambling. Aya collapses, pale and gasping. Time is running out. Her friend screams in terror, but Aiden is ice cold. He checks her eyes, and makes the call instantly. Not food poisoning, but powerful hallucinogens. Aiden deduces it's an inside job. He locks it down and orders a cell search, calling for Mia and her photographic memory to hunt the traitor. The Red Witch makes her play, handing a potion to the blonde traitor. It melts the anti-magic collar they're planning to unleash chaos while Aiden is distracted. Ignoring avenged cries, the traitor downs the potion. Magic surges back. She straps on a toxin tank, eyes glowing with lethal intent. Veronica tears the cells apart and finds a vibrating crystal. The horned girl screams not for the crystal, but in sheer terror of facing Aiden. Meanwhile, the Red Witch tries to grill Asina. She's desperate to know, is the rumor true? Does Aiden actually have zero magic? Asina plays smart, mixing lies with truth. She claims she can't read Aiden's soul, but drops a key weakness. Aiden has a bad leg. He can't run. The witch leaves an escape potion and vanishes. Cut to Aiden. He's holding a vial, hesitating. Cornered and desperate, he might have to gamble with his life. Veronica recalls an awkward conversation about contraband, burying her face in shame. In her memory, everyone teased her about saving Aiden for love, but she furiously denied it, flustered and embarrassed. Suddenly, a pungent scent hits Veronica, draining the color from her face. It's the smell of death from her werewolf cavalry training, and a wave of despair washes over her. Something is terribly wrong. Chaos erupts in the infirmary as young Avenge vomits purple venom. The doctor breaks into a cold sweat. It's the legendary corpse blossom and serpent venom, ingredients only the mysterious Ant Queen could possess. Avenge has escaped. Aiden's eyes go wide with shock, and he screams to trigger a level 1 alert. Sirens wail through the sky, sending citizens outside into a panic. They know all hell is breaking loose. Interlude: the calm before the storm is brief. Inside and outside the prison, hidden factions are making their moves. The show is about to begin. The defense system kicks into high gear. Massive blue energy barriers rise with a deafening roar, sealing the prison tight. Guards watch with hearts in their throats. This is a level 1 alert. Warnings are useless. The prisoners attack. Iron bars are bent like rubber. Purple energy blasts everywhere. At a command from the raven-haired leader, the long-planned riot officially begins. Chaos engulfs the command room. Reports fly in. Mary is attacking guards, and the new girl melted mithril locks. The commander realizes with horror this is a conspiracy orchestrated by the Ant Queen all along. The commander holds the line, shouting orders to stabilize the defense. Troops are sent to the front hall, while Flora and May rush to central control to activate anti-magic arrays, covered by Veronica. They think they just need to hold for 15 minutes for backup, but in the shadows, the silver-haired bounty hunter pulls out a rocket launcher. Grinning, he lights the fuse. Reinforcements aren't coming. Boom! The rocket explodes against the barrier like twisted fireworks. Aiden watches the flames with a grim face, knowing the witch Daly is about to use this chaos to make her move. On the way to the control room, a mysterious figure slips Flora a top-secret file, warning her to keep it hidden. Daly watches from the side, narrowing her eye as she smells a trump card. Nearby, a lackey begs for mercy, but the Ant Queen glances coldly and walks away, leaving the dead weight behind. The prison erupts into total chaos as prisoners charge out like beasts, brandishing glowing weapons. Mages try to blast the gate, but the defensive array bounces the spell right back. Suddenly, a massive pink tentacle monster emerges, shoving a little girl out of its way. The heavy hitters have arrived. As the gate's defense weakens, desperate guards try to bribe prisoners with reduced sentences. But it fails. A burly prisoner roars about his poisoned friend, deaf to their offers and out for blood. Chaos reigns outside, while inside, prisoners argue. Some want to save their wounded, but a cold-blooded hooded woman sneers, saying the useless cripples should be left behind. Loyalty prevails as someone produces the Ant Queen's magic potions. The liquid melts the cell doors instantly, and seeing the path clear, the prisoners roar and charge out. Seeing the situation spiral, the blonde supervisor in the tower slams the button. machinery whirs to life, unleashing the prison's ultimate weapon, a massive mechanical lion. The lion is a beast, suppressing the prisoners alongside firing mechanical soldiers. Frost rays shoot from the walls, instantly freezing anyone unlucky enough to be hit as screams fill the air. Guards switch to paralyzing bullets, forcing prisoners to shield up. With the stalemate, someone goes the top fighter Jean Jia. She grins, eager for a brawl. While chaos erupts outside, a cold deal is struck inside. The top hat man hires mercenaries to block the gates and crush the prisoners. Money talks. Hearing about a special mission and a fat paycheck, the blue-haired mercenary's eyes light up. She's all in. She thought she was the hunter, but the prisoners surround her instantly. Before she can react, a massive fireball blasts right in her face. A monster steps out of the smoke. Jean Jia laughs maniacally, unleashing explosive power without caring who gets caught in the blast. The grunts scramble in terror. Jean Jia is the legendary butcher after all. Now, he faces off against the lightning user, ready to settle an old score. The Ant Queen watches calmly, letting her daughter test her strength. Meanwhile, the purple-haired guy summons a giant snake, but Daly instantly counters with a binding spell. Suspended in midair, the purple-haired man screams betrayal. But Daly looks grim. This guy is a cultist, who only gets stronger the more pain he takes. Even bound tight, he fights back. Memories of a broken promise flood his mind. He swore to save his people, and he refuses to fall here. The shocking truth reveals itself. The generous woman was the Ant Queen all along. She didn't adopt those orphans to save them, but to use them as lab rats. Consumed by rage after learning the truth, the blue-haired girl screams for vengeance against those who experimented on her friends. The battle escalates into total chaos. Mechanical lions rampage, while magic beams tear through the air. The prison is turning into a war zone. Trapped between deadly traps and a raging lion, the group screams for help. Daly steps up, instantly casting a high-level spell to clear the path. As expected of the head instructor, she scraps the mechanical lion in one hit. The scattered wreckage is proof enough. Never mess with Teacher Daly. Inmates are out for blood, sending guards scrambling for the safe room. The control room is baffled. The collars are working. So how are these prisoners using magic? It's a suicide run. The Ant Queen injected banned potions directly into their brains, burning their lives to force magic past the collars. The Ant Queen doesn't care if they turn into vegetables. With cold precision, her commander directs a three-pronged attack to slaughter the hiding guards. While Daly manages the troops, the blue-haired commander focuses on the real target, the Warden's head. She orders her daughter, Evange, to clear the path. The green-haired assassin gets chewed up by gunfire. Pinned to the ground and helpless, she stares down the barrel as the blonde girl pulls the trigger without hesitation. Evange's barrier is impenetrable. Meanwhile, the sealed purple-haired fighter is screaming for someone to hurt him. He needs pain to break the seal. With no weapon to stab him, he's getting desperate. Suddenly, the sky darkens. A massive magic circle covers the city, signaling the arrival of a true monster. Storm clouds gather outside, signaling chaos. Inside, the Hat Man corners the necromancer, demanding to know why her magic collar is off. She just shrugs. The prison is in such a mess. Nobody's checking the rules anymore. In the shadows, the Ant Queen holds a glowing vial with a creepy smile. She delivers a chilling threat. Many will die today, Warden Aiden. Hand over your soul, or you might be next. Red alarms flash wildly. Solitary is in total panic. Two prisoners sprint through the chaos calling for friends, when suddenly, a steel door is smashed open. A scream for help is cut short by a brutal impact. Deep underground, a girl sobs in terror as monsters roar nearby. The escaping prisoners are desperate. They decide to release the legendary Wendigo to smash a path, even if it means risking their own lives. The prisoner boasts about controlling the monster, but guards cut them off instantly. Cornered, the beast men stop panicking. Their wild instinct kicks in, sensing the danger before it strikes. These human guards are insanely strong. The giant monsters are terrified, and the prisoners start wavering, talking about surrender. Only the bullhead leader screams in rage, "Cowards! Crush them into paste!" Losing the fight, the prisoners get desperate. They pull out the Ant Queen's forbidden potion and, ignoring all safety warnings, shove the entire bag down the Wendigo's throat. Boom! The potion triggers a massive explosion that blasts the steel doors off their hinges. As the smoke clears, the drug monster lies on the ground, groaning as a terrifying mutation begins. The monster mutates into a green nightmare. The potion was a trap. Suddenly, the scene cuts to a flashback. A lone warrior in the desert, years ago, staring down an armored knight. The battlefield is a slaughterhouse. Realizing he was used as cannon fodder with no backup coming, the commander screams in rage. Betrayed, he slashes his own face, vowing vengeance. Thunder roars as the enemy cavalry charges. The lone commander stands his ground against the entire army. Fists glowing with green energy, he prepares to drag them all to hell with him. That was his crime, rebellion, and heresy. The flashback ends, and reality hits hard. A shockwave from the riot sends the pink-haired translator flying into the railing with a painful crash. The poor girl is delirious, screaming, "Who am I?" Her friend tries to drag her to safety, but her pants get snagged. Panic sets in as another explosion erupts right behind them. Safe inside, the pink-haired girl clings to the strategist, sobbing about a vision. She saw Aiden overwhelmed by 80 female prisoners. It sounds ridiculous, but her terror makes everyone nervous. The strategist realizes the danger that green fog is alive. Staying here is suicide. Jean Jia powers up, glowing with golden energy, and smashes the bars. Time to fight their way out. The group makes a desperate break for it. Sprinting down the corridor, with lightning crackling around them, they run for their lives. No looking back now. Meanwhile, on another front, a silver mech tears through the battlefield with blinding speed. It looks like Teacher Daly's faction has joined the fray. It's the student squad. They're charging in, confident because they have the ultimate bioweapon, Evangeline. They recall Daly's ambition. With an army like her, we could rule the continent. The red-haired witch mocks the old guard, cutting ties completely. But strangely, the soldiers are retreating to the central gate instead of fighting. The students are confused. Why pull back now? Command is in a meltdown. Warden missing, rebels attacking, and no backup. Cut to the reinforcements. They're chilling in a fancy restaurant, enjoying a feast while the prison burns. Total betrayal. In a tavern, Suit Guy plots with soldiers. They're staging a fake riot to boost Aiden's fame. He smiles confidently, unaware that outside in the rain, a much darker game is beginning. A truck loaded with energy stones rushes toward the prison. The men are confused. Budget cuts, yet paying triple price? Watching from a window, a blue-haired witch observes calmly, her gaze freezing cold. Chaos in the control room. The green mage panics over a breach, but Top Hat Guy stays chill, thinking it's a drill. Only the blue-haired guy realizes, it's happening too fast. This is a disaster. Actually, the masterminds are panicking too. Top Hat Guy forces a calm face. Meanwhile, the Red Witch hears prisoners mocking Aiden for using only tranquilizers. The battlefield situation is getting murky. The real trap springs. A giant red-eyed rat screeches found it, targeting the Red Witch. Suddenly, a swarm of rats floods the area, their squeaks drowning out the screams in the rainy night. The gate is breached, soldiers panic. In the chaos, the blonde beast girl steps up, calmly commanding the defense. Under her roar, the line reforms, and cannons fire, barely holding back the onslaught. The enemy finds the fatal weakness. Aiden is alone. Snakehair Girl senses him unguarded. A sinister whisper echoes, perfect timing. Instantly, a terrifying purple vortex erupts, swallowing everything. It's the terminally ill patient. She snaps her eyes open, dropping the act. The medical room was the loophole. Purple light explodes, and demons tear through space, rushing straight for Aiden. Veronica turns pale. The medical room leads straight to Aiden. Too late to stop it. A massive explosion shatters the door. Smoke and shockwaves instantly swallow the entire corridor. Smoke fills the air. Veronica stands firm with her spear before the ruins, facing surging purple energy. The battle has fully erupted. There is no turning back. Rewind to before the crisis. Top Hat Guy specifically ordered Veronica, protect Aiden during the riot. At the time, she was confused. Why would the powerful Warden need her protection? The truth comes out: Aiden has amnesia. He's just an ordinary human now. Top Hat Lady warns Veronica that the guards are untrustworthy. When the time comes, Veronica must choose. Right now, Veronica is sprinting like a mad woman through the rain. A spear slams down to block her, but she doesn't care. The gates open. She must reach the infirmary before the monsters do. Obstacles everywhere. Veronica gets slammed into the wall, wincing in pain. But her golden eyes flash. She's going berserk. Meanwhile, giant demonic hands descend, threatening to crush everyone. Death to those in my way. Veronica becomes a blur, tearing through the horde. Every punch cracks with a sonic boom, smashing the puppets and carving a bloody path. On the other side, commanders are arguing. Some call it suicide, others cry about dying. Amid the chaos, the blonde beast girl's eyes suddenly sharpen. She's got a crazy idea. Suddenly, alarms blare. The guards are fleeing? Before prisoners can react, the pink fox girl makes her move. She unleashes her racial talent fox charm technique. Pink mist covers the field. This mist is wicked. Not poison, but powerful hallucinations. Soldiers inhale the fog, their eyes turning feverish. They start whipping their own teammates. The battlefield turns into a chaotic farce. But wait, something's wrong? Everyone is puking. The charm uses pheromones and aphrodisiac for straight men. But this is a women's prison. To them, the smell is like drinking sewage. While everyone else vomits, the snake girl is blushing furiously. She clutches her head. This scent is so shameful. Oh boy, turns out this spell works as a radar, instantly revealing who swings that way. The succubus unleashes her pink domain, striking directly at the heart. The snake lady, dazed by the floral scent, sees a long-lost lover and a dream wedding. She knows it's fake, yet her defenses crumble instantly. She embraces the illusion with tears, willing to drown in this fleeting tenderness. But dreams are fragile. Vines strangle her instantly, tearing the wedding apart into a brutal battlefield. Reality strikes a fatal blow. Chaos erupts on the other side, as screams of betrayal ring out. The cold-faced commander reveals her trap for Ophelia and orders number 13 Angel to clear the path. Terrifying magic is about to detonate. The chapter concludes amidst the tension of glowing magic. As a palate cleanser, we get a bizarre travelogue about the Fox Den adventurers seeking pleasure only to get robbed blind by fox demons. A classic case of instant karma.